Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Well, next week's AEW Dynamite is a special edition of Dynamite. They're calling it St. Patrick's Day Slam. With that, the show was actually filmed yesterday inside Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, and per Space Force 1 on Reddit, we've got some spoilers, so spoiler alert for next week's AEW Dynamite. You don't want to be spoiled? Click off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First off, we do know that Cody took on Pentagon, and Cody picked up the victory. This states that they got into it quickly as soon as the intros ended. Penta controlled the early portions of the match with an array of high-paced, rope-related offense. Penta tried to hit something from the top to the outside, but Cody stopped him and hit a Hurricane Rana back in the ring. Cody hit a couple of springboard moves and then hit the crossroads, but Penta kicks out. Cody eventually steals a win, and a post-match brawl starts with Death Triangle and the Nightmare Family. Jade Cargill is in action next week, and apparently she just wins a quick squash match. It's what we all would have expected. Then, get the big reveal from MJF and his group, their name, and I guess you could say maybe their motive. MJF hits the ring with his new group, and Tully Blanchard is the first on mic. He runs down exactly how all the Inner Circle members got destroyed last week. He says the group he surrounded himself with is at the pinnacle of this industry right now. He was in the greatest group in wrestling history years ago and plans to make this one of the greatest groups in wrestling history. MJF takes the mic and says that he's Judas now. He says it wasn't easy pretending to like Chris Jericho all this time and makes fun of Jericho's separated pecs. He goes on to make more jokes about Jericho and the Inner Circle and how the Inner Circle is nonsense and they were just being plucked off one by one. The plan was always to destroy the Inner Circle and replace it with a better group. He christens his new group as the Pinnacle and hypes each member up, including calling FTR the only Grand Slam tag team champions in wrestling history and the best tag team in the world. He talks himself up and calls himself a fine wine, saying that it makes everyone at home want to punch through their screens at how good he really is. He reminds everyone that he's only 24 years old. He's got at least 25 years left in this business. He again reminds everybody that the group is called Pinnacle. He says they're going to take all of the gold and ends with a message directly to Jericho stating, "I'm better than you, and you know it." Then they get a match what they're calling Hardy Inc. against Jurassic Express in Bear Country. Match goes on for about 30 seconds before erupting in chaos with the babyfaces cleaning house. Marco Stunt is launched from the ring onto the heels outside. Heels take over for a while. Luchasaurus gets a hot tag and kicks butt. At one point, another brawl results in Isaiah Cassidy hitting a monster drop kick from the mat to the top rope. Hardy screams for the tag and gets it. He comes in, dances around for a few seconds, being like a quote-unquote glory hog, and then hits the twist of fate to pick up the victory. Next up, we have the Good Brothers taking on Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley. Good Brothers attack from behind as the entrances are going on. Carl Anderson eventually throws Kingston in and demands the ref ring the bell. Good Brothers control Kingston for a while and work him over before Moxley eventually gets the hot tag. Moxley roughs up Anderson, forcing Gallows to interfere and break up a pin. Moxley sends Gallows to the outside and hits a suicide dive. Later, the Good Brothers take control again and set up a magic killer on Moxley, but can't hit it. Moxley steals the win with a roll-up, and the Good Brothers immediately jump on him as soon as it ends. Kenny Omega's music hits, and he comes out wielding a chair with Callis at his side. Kenny squares up to a downed Moxley, but Kingston charges in at all of them to make the save. The heels beat him down and set up a top rope chair stomp. Anderson hits it, and they set it up again with Gallows going up top. Before they can jump, the Young Bucks would actually run out and make the save to stop the heels. They talk them down, basically. Kenny and the Good Brothers throw up the two sweet hand signal, but the Bucks walk away without doing so. The distraction of this dismentation with the Young Bucks allows Moxley time to come to and clear the ring with the steel chair. We get an interview segment, and who would have thought? Another Sting interview segment with Tony Schiavone. Schiavone's out for his weekly Sting interview that doesn't actually includes Sting talking. Tony invites Sting and Darby out to the ring. Darby mentions that he's only defended the TNT title 3 times and that's pissed him off. He says he wants to be a fighting champion. He starts to offer an open challenge when Lance Archer and Jake Roberts would come out and cut them off. Archer cuts an Archer promo, and Jake says he's going to twist it up and stick it up your rear, whatever that means. It looks like maybe they're talking about the skateboard. Taz would then interrupt. Before he can say much, Cage cuts him off and says Taz won't speak for him this week. Brian Cage addresses Sting and says he was really impressed by Sting during the street fight. Cage says he respects Sting and that, well, no matter what Ricky Stark says, Sting is still an icon without the bat. Taz gets pissed and yells, "What the hell are you doing?" as they leave. They are now teasing dissension within Team Taz, possibly teasing a babyface turn for one Brian Cage. That is an interesting move I didn't see coming. We see Phoenix win what is called a quote-unquote filler match with a shoulder carry pile driver. And then our main event, the unsanctioned lights out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. We don't get much as far as what happened in the match here, but an interesting thing to note is, and quote, I'm not spoiling this match. You have to watch it. Some truly insane spots, including the finish. Britt was nearly unrecognizable at the end of the match. Standing ovation from the audience after the match, and even after the camera stopped rolling. That's crazy to hear. That I kind of ripped into this during my Dynamite review, saying, oh, it can't live up to what the last unsanctioned lights out match did, but this gives me hope that maybe it doesn't live up to, but is close to, in theory. But with that, this is all we do know as far as spoilers for next week's AEW Dynamite, the St. Patrick's Day Slam edition of Dynamite. If we do hear anything else leading up to next week's show on TNT, we'll have it for you right here on Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But that's going to do it for this episode. Remember to comment below, like and share this video, like us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe right here on YouTube.